By a school patroller at AB Xuma Primary School in Orlando East, Soweto. The alleged perpetrator is a 56-year-old man who was appointed on recommendation of the Greater Orlando Community Policing Forum. The pupils, who are aged between 6 and 9 years old, were subjected to this gruesome crime in the hands of the person who was supposedly responsible for the school's security. Joining us in studio now to talk about this issue, we've got the MEC of Education here in Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi. MEC, thank you. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks, Leon. Thanks.
This has to be one of the biggest incidences, alleged sexual abuse in our country's history.
It is. It's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. You know, one is very weak. It's very difficult even to manage the situation, but we have no choice but to pick up the pieces and really confront the issue and attend to it immediately. And that's what we have done. We've already removed the principal and the entire senior management team. I'm meeting the SGB over the weekend. I met parents and community organization last night. We've already related some of the information we've received to the police to strengthen the case, because that is very, very important. And so far, 44 parents have assisted us to consolidate the case with the evidence. We are waiting for other parents today and tomorrow to consolidate and strengthen the case. But we are in a state of shock, to be quite frank. Yeah. We least expected this to happen. School should be the safest place for our children. And there's no way that we can find ourselves in this kind of a situation and fold our arms. We just have to confront it and deal with it. But it means we have to overhaul everything. We have to overhaul our reporting channels. We have to overhaul our policies. We have to also overhaul our recruitment processes of recruiting this kind of services, because the Department of Security Safety is the one that was assisting us to recruit. So it's very, very important that then we bring everything within our control, because in the ultimate end we are responsible for the safety and the care and support of our children.
Most definitely. So MEC, obviously it's still a very sensitive case. It's new. It's it's got to get to court, still under investigation. But for how long do you believe that this has been going on for?
Well, the first indication came from a parent around February.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the parent could not report it to us. It's the child that alerted the parent to say, this Mkulu is doing ABC. But the parent, I think, assumed is one of those things that children are raising. So it's only now in September, when the child raised another concern about Mkulu, that this grandparent started to add the dots. And I'm grateful to that grandparent, because if she didn't report that matter to us, we'd still be in the dark. So after reporting it, the school just did a dipstick analysis just to get some confessions from our children. And when the number started to grow, they felt they need to report it to our officials, and they needed professional services. It's only when professional services came, where people that are good in interviewing and getting the necessary consent from parents, that the number is increased to 83. But they're going back to the school today. I'm just crossing my fingers that it doesn't go beyond that number 83.
I find it very difficult to comprehend in my head how the number is at 83 to begin with. And the story of the principal, I know that the principal has been suspended. A lot of other teachers on the management board have also been suspended. How do you know? Have the children come forward to say that the principal said, do not tell anybody that this is happening? So the principal was aware of this. That's
the allegations that are coming. As I said, in last night community meeting, community structures were also flagging that aspect, that some of the children told them that the school management advised them not to brief parents. It's an allegation that we are taking very serious. And that is why we've immediately asked an independent firm to come on board, a legal firm, to investigate all these allegations. Who was supposed to report what? Did they do that? And how are we going to move forward in reviewing all our policies, and also to deal with the support that we need? Because the most important thing is to immediately give support to those children.
Yes.
And also ensure that we minimize and mitigate the effects of this unfortunate incident. So I'm grateful to the Teddy Bear Clinic. Without them, I don't think that would have survived the last 2 days. They've literally camped at the school. And they've been interviewing our learners, and they've provided all the relevant counseling that I thought was of the highest standard, so that our children at least can get comfort and support. We're extending that to their parents, and we're hopeful that we'll be in a position to broaden the investigation. What we have said as a department is to say, because the school is in a precinct, and if we have a number of 83 from one school, the likelihood of having other children in nearby school is very, very high. But beyond that is also where this suspect is staying, because there are children there. So we've asked the police just broaden it quickly to determine whether we can't assist other children that may be in difficulty.
Tell me more about the suspect. Obviously, we don't want him to be identified at this point, but what I want to know is, firstly, he was recommended by the Greater Orlando Community Policing Forum, which is, that's the first red alert, because I mean, that's the policing forum. They're recommending somebody who is a child predator and molester. Does he have a criminal record? Have you looked into his past?
We looked at that, because immediately when this story broke, we went to the files just to be sure, indeed. He was indeed vetted. The police took the fingerprints, they checked their criminal records. The only 3 things they picked up were cases he had opened against other people, and it was just criminal cases where he was involved, but there was nothing that related to any sexual behavior or sexual orientation. But what we have said is that let's go deeper than that. We might have not utilized other institutions that deal with this particular matter. So the police are working very, very hard on that. I must be honest as well, they really came on board. They're doing everything within their powers to assist us. And I'm grateful to the MEC for safety as well, Mrs. Agelo Nkosi, because she also put up the best team to work with us. And they're in the process of removing the case from the local police station so that it can be a provincial case and it can be broadened across the province.
MEC, I'm sorry to ask this question, but what kind of crimes are we talking about? What did this man do to these children?
It's many things, Leanne. It's painful. It's hurting. It's from trying to put his fingers underneath the girls, sexual harassment, attempts to penetrate, also cases of trying to say the learner must remain behind after school hours. He will take them home, inviting them to places that naturally, if you go to such places, something might happen to those young ones. So the 44 stories that I've seen, they're unpleasant indeed. And you least expect children to go through that pain. And that's the reason why we feel that let's give all these children all the support that they need.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got a lot of comments that have come through from viewers as well. Let's just put them up on the screen at this horrific story. This is saying Panyaza Sufi and colleagues must suspend themselves as well. Social ills in school is not only the principal's accountability. Well,
it's legitimate. It stops with us. So I don't think that is unfounded. I don't think it's... Leanne, we are not talking about one person. We're not talking about 2. We're not talking about 20.
About 83 children.
We're talking about 83.
Which is why I can't understand that this man has gotten away with it.
We have to take responsibility as well as leaders. I don't think that is an unfounded statement by your viewers. It's a serious matter. Actually, as a country, we should be shocked. It is a national disaster. It is a dark clouds for all of us. For God's sake, these are children. So if you have children that are in grade R that has to go through this pain, and we have to protect them, we have to care them, we have failed them. We have failed them. So that is why we have to do everything within our powers to ensure that we give them the necessary support and care that they need.
The arrests, we'll wrap up this interview now, but in terms of arrests, a couple of tweets that I saw also saying surely there'll be more arrests. It can't be just this one perpetrator. I mean, the principal should be behind bars too.
That's the reason why we are requesting the police to elevate the case and also requesting the Teddy Bear Clinic to also provide the kind of support that would make us to know that who is involved, who is not involved.
And disband the SGB.
No, I'm meeting them over the weekend with the parents. They must tell us why can't we disband them. We'll give them that opportunity.
MEC, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
We'll keep updated on the story. For me, I agree with you. This is a national tragedy. 83 children being sexually molested and abused by one man at a school. This is something that is absolutely unacceptable. Our MEC for Education here in Gauteng, Panyaza Lasufi. Let's take a break. We'll see you afterwards. Do stay tuned.